Well, I am honored to be here for a variety of reasons. There's so many friends in the room, both in uniform and outside of uniforms today. I am really honored to represent the 103,000 people of Davenport, but even more so the 450,000 people in the Quad Cities. We are one region and we have to understand that. But we've got a great city, and some of the representatives of those are here today, those in uniform, those supporting them. I was talking to Officer Andrew Harris a little while ago, and like I said, I think we've seen each other more than we have seen our family in the last few days at a variety of events. But I've seen all of these officers in action, and I mean that broad sense of this, how they reach out to the community to build relationships and make a difference in individuals' lives. Yes, if somebody does something wrong in this community, they're going to get arrested, but that's not the issue. You can see their commitment to work with kids and families and individuals to create a situation where the crimes don't happen. And I think that's maybe more important by far. We talk about safety and public safety, and that's extremely important, but prevention beats the heck out of intervention every time. And I'm really honored by the individuals who are here just to be with them periodically, and some more than others, and seeing the great work that they do and who we're representing and remembering. And Scott, obviously we all thank you for your years of service, and we'll talk more about that as we go on. So it's delighted to be here to represent this city. We do have, and they were asked, he said, give me 10 minutes. I can give you 2 hours if you want, but I won't. But one of the things, I think there's a lot of things going on, and we talked at the table, a variety of initiatives, and there's a lot of things happening in our city. And there's a lot of growth in the city. And this will all tie back into the officers that are here, because as the city expands, in many cases, because we do have a fixed property tax levy of 8.1%, that's it. So we're not raising taxes. But how do you deal then with the need for expanding services over a larger area? And we're very cognizant of that, and we see that as a responsibility we've got to find answers to. And I want to also mention, related to this, we had a blue ribbon panel that we put in place, and one of the outcomes of that was a police and fire operational study. And I bring that up because these were endorsed by the police chief and the fire chief, because there are very few accredited police departments in the country, and we are one of those. But one of the reasons we're so good is the fact is they both endorse the fact of doing the operational study. How can we even get better? So I think that's important to understand as well. There was we did a recent video that the chief and the staff did, and it's really great to see these are individuals that are coaching Little League. They're the person you sit next to in church. They're the ones at the PTA meetings with their families. All those things, they're playing the banjo, or maybe I don't know if anybody plays the banjo. But they play some instrument somewhere. I know Lieutenant Smith is a pretty accomplished musician. So I think all of those kind of things, they're regular people that have decided to make a big commitment. And I think that's extremely important for us to remember. We're really close to one other thing, and I'll offer for another meeting, but I have a program about the riverfront, where we are, and I'd like to come to this group and present that little information, and then get your feedback. What's next? The porte-cochere is going. It's under deconstruction as we speak, and the barge has been sold to, and we don't own either of those, by the way. That's owned by the casino and now owned by other people, by the city of Keokuk, the barge. But that's going to be cleared off. What's going to happen next? And I think it's important that what we're talking about here, so let me on your program. I'd like to come and do that. But I think more importantly, it comes down to more initiatives that these men and women in uniform are overseeing and being engaged with. We do everything as a team. So when the chief sits in a meeting, he's hearing the whole story and becomes all Davenport residents becoming part of a big solution for our community. And I think that's also equally important as well. Also, the relationship, we have officers, maybe some of you know, in the schools. It's not security, it's relationship building. And I think that's important. When you see an officer at a location, make sure you go up and introduce yourself and talk to them, and introduce the people around you, because the reality is they're out in most cases building relationships, especially in the schools, so that young people know who they are, and you see and great, I can tell you, when Andrew in particular, he's out there, and a number of the others. Hank's another one I've seen. There's going to be Cops to Cones. We ended up giving your thunder away on Monday, where the police officer will be there giving out free ice cream, yes, free ice cream, to anybody who comes to Vanderveer Park. It's an environment where you want to see young kids running up to the police officers. That's what we're trying to develop. And this team, they know what community policing is. I am honored to have these individuals as friends, but also part of our police department. And our chief is leading the way. So with all that in mind, I'd like to introduce Chief Paul Sikorsky, who is our police chief, but also one heck of a guy, lives in town, great family man, great guy in particular, as are all these individuals here today, because they're making a difference, want to make sure that they impact the lives of all children, adults, and families in our community. Thanks, God. And thanks everything going on here. And thanks all the work that you do as well. Thank you very much.
Please keep talking.
Oops.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here today. And I also had the opportunity to talk just a little bit about the police department and some of the things that we're doing right now. So I want to take maybe about 5 minutes before we get to what we're all here for, and that's to recognize and honor the work of one of your police officers. But I did want to take a couple minutes to kind of update you on us and what we're doing as a police department. And the mayor said a lot about who we are, where we've come from, and where we're going as an agency, and hit it, just nailed it. And I appreciate that, Mayor. I appreciate everything you're doing for this community as well. Before we get going, what I do want to say and acknowledge is this award was named after Kevin Markson a couple years ago. So I look at the Optimist Creed. I think the first year it was changed, we talked a little bit about that and how it's just perfect for Kevin. If any of you knew Kevin. Kevin, if you can read every line of that creed, of the Optimist Creed, and Kevin fits into that. So I want, sorry about that. 2014 is when he passed, and it still hurts. I want to take just a minute for all of us to just a minute of silence to not only remember Kevin, but all of those in our community who just serve. Not just law enforcement. We have a lot of people out there that dedicate their lives to make our community better. So I wanted to take a minute for all of us just to think about that. Those in the past, those who are doing it right now, and those who will take our place in the future to make our community better. Thank you for bearing with me for that emotional, unexpected little response there. But two other people I want to recognize in this room. Bob Wright, Lieutenant Wright, would you stand up for a second, please? Bob worked for us, for the police department, and for this community for many years, and he's here still to support everything that you are doing as an Optimist Club and what we're doing as a law enforcement agency. And Jerry Benning, Sergeant Jerry Benning, would you please stand, Jerry? I know you guys aren't here to be recognized, you probably don't expect that, but both of you have dedicated your lives to what we're doing now. We have taken over for you, and there's going to be young men and women who take over for us. And we know that, and we're getting them ready for all of you. And you guys got us ready, and we thank you for that. A few things I want to talk about at this police department is your police department has 163 sworn police officers. That's what we carry to ensure safety in this community. We have 26 civilian employees. We have 27 volunteers in police services that do an incredible amount of work for us. And Owen Farrell, who's aiming a camera at me right now for some ungodly reason, he manages that crew and is working to make that an even larger crew, that volunteer crew. We have 4 public safety chaplains in our agency. Those chaplains work for us, for our families, and for our entire community. One of the one of the challenges that I put forward to our chaplains and that they've engaged in is our chaplains, along with myself, when we have a victim of either a violent crime or a fatal crash or any of those types of things where a family member is taken, no matter who that family member is, our chaplains and myself, we reach out to that family in a condolence type of message, not an investigative or anything like that. It's us going to that family and saying, no matter who your loved one was, they mean something to our community, and we are here grieving with you. So that's one of the things that our chaplain is doing for our community, our chaplains. We handle about anywhere from 90,000 to 100,000 calls for service a year in the city of Davenport. The police department does. And we do somewhere around 20,000 to 25,000 police reports in a year. Some of the priorities that we have as a policing agency for you are public safety and crime reduction. That's an easy one, right? That is our job. That's what we do. A lot of it has to do with crime prevention, and the mayor talked a little bit about that. Scott will come up here. I don't know if he'll talk about that, but that's what he does every single day in his career. Community policing is another priority of ours. You will hear more about that as today goes on. Community engagement, building trust. Mayor talked about it. You'll hear more out of it from when we talk about what Scott has done for this community. Officer employee wellness, safety, and training and education. We want you to have the safest, best trained, best educated police department that is possible, and that is one of our goals. And we have an outstanding training unit that takes care of that for all of you and for all of us. And CALIA accreditation, the mayor touched on that as well. We want to continue to be an accredited, nationally accredited organization. Some of the complexity and calls for service, just to give you an idea of what our officers are dealing with every day, and some of the things we're concentrating some of our efforts on. Gun violence and our youth. Those are two big areas that we're pouring a lot of resources and time into as part of both prevention, enforcement, and investigation. Mental health in our community. We are engaged in many different outreaches with many different groups within our community, including, Kevin, do you have mental health court today?
Yeah, at 1 o'clock.
So what he's telling me right now is, Chief, that's enough. Chief, that's enough. So we're engaged in a lot of things that are not enforcement. There's a mental health court, whether you knew that or not. It's new here in Scott County, and we have 2 representatives from the police department on that panel as well as many other things. The opioid and heroin influx around the nation and right here in the Quad Cities, we're very much engaged in that as well. We take a very holistic approach. The mayor talked about us and one of our priorities of engagement. Last year we logged somewhere around 41 or 42,000 positive police contacts. That's us coming to a meeting like this. That's us going to stop and buying lemonade from a couple kids selling lemonade at a street corner. That's all sorts of different events that all of these gentlemen go to and the ladies that serve for us. And that's only a snapshot of what we're doing. So positive contacts is something that I, as your police chief, stress, and that these officers are completely 100% engaged in. A couple of new things that we're into the future here that we're looking at. So our body camera program, we are done testing now, and we're in the process of purchasing. We have selected the cameras, the body cameras that we want, and we're in the process of purchasing those. Money's already been approved in a capital improvement project, thanks to our elected officials and our city admin. We will be installing, you'll start seeing around the city several digital speed signs throughout the city. Maybe you've seen them on Division Street in front of the schools there, on Jersey Ridge in front of Eisenhower School. We just purchased 24 of them, I believe. My goal is, and this was a great collaborative effort with our Public Works Department, my goal is I would love to have them in our school areas, in the parks areas, and then other areas where historically we've had a lot of speed issues. So you'll be seeing those pop up around the city. There's going to be great tools for it. It's a visual indicator of how fast you're going and what the speed limit is. So please slow down. They will also grab data for us as far as the volume of traffic there and speed. 85th percentile and what the averages are for speed in those areas. We are looking at both an integrated system of body cameras, squad car cameras, and interview rooms. That's a project that we're working on. We're working on cell phone technology to help us with investigations. We are looking at license plate reader technology. We're looking at crime analysis technology. We are looking at GIS mapping in our squad cars so our officers can see what the crime trends are in their geographical beat areas. We're looking at social mapping. We're looking at leadership development in our agency. I talked about the men you see in this room, the police officers. We're not going to be here forever. We know that. And we're getting people ready to take over for us, so it's a smooth transition, so all of you have great leadership in this agency. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for us and what we're currently doing in law enforcement. I'd like to have Kevin Small. Kevin is the lieutenant in charge of our Crime Prevention Bureau, where Scott works, and I'd like to have him come up, because this is really an honor for us to recognize one of our officers, somebody who is just making the great choice of sacrificing himself to make our community better. And it's not a job, it's a passion that Scott has. Kevin, would you like to read this, or would you like me to read it?
Go ahead, Chief, you're doing fine.
Would you like to say a word?
Actually, what I'd like to add is this is a well-deserved award for Officer Fuller, Scott. I can describe Scott in 3 words: heart of gold, dedication, and loyal. And I'm very proud to work with him, not just supervise him, but to work with him. He has been an asset to this community, this department for several years. And this is an award that has been definitely deserved.
Thanks, Kevin. Sergeant Harris, can you and Hank Jacobson please come up? And then the reason I'm asking these guys to come up, these guys work with Scott every day. This is an honor for Scott. He deserves to have the people he works with come up here and when we talk about you, Scott. So Sergeant Andrew Harris, Corporal Hank Jacobson, both in our crime prevention and NETS unit. Officer Fuller began his career as a police officer with the Davenport Police Department in August 2002 and was then assigned to our Neighborhoods Energized to Succeed, or NETS unit, in 2005. Officer Fuller is the longest tenured NETS officer we have in the agency. Throughout his career, and specifically within the past 12 years while working in the NETS unit, Officer Fuller has continuously exemplified excellence in every endeavor he has initiated and every task he has been assigned. Officer Fuller was the driving force of a transformation of the Goose Creek Heights neighborhood. Officer Fuller is well known in the Davenport Police Department and the city of Davenport as an officer that will not only get the job done, but every task will be completed in a timely manner, and thoroughness and thoughtfulness, most of all. Along with his duties in the Goose Creek neighborhood, Officer Fuller serves as the Davenport Police Department's graffiti officer, mobile precinct coordinator, eviction court liaison, and is the contact officer for numerous rental properties in Davenport. Officer Fuller is often used to mentor new officers and has instilled the importance of going back to the basics to build strong neighborhoods, which is critical for us in our community. Officer Fuller is passionate about his assignment, which is a complete understatement, in the NETS unit, and holds himself to a very high standard. Officer Fuller's work ethic is contagious and is a model to other NETS officers of the value of taking ownership of their assigned neighborhoods. Officer Fuller has been an integral participant, organizer, team player, and coordinator while serving as a police officer in the Goose Creek Heights neighborhood, Goose Creek neighborhood projects, and community policing initiatives. Officer Fuller actively applies community-oriented policing and problem-oriented policing strategies while utilizing his training, experience, and genuine care and concern to solve problems and address issues, not only within his NETS area, but throughout our community. Officer Fuller is assigned as the Goose Creek Heights officer which involves much more than just serving as a point of contact for residents, landlords, and business owners. He regularly attends monthly meetings, actively listens, participating and sharing information at community meetings, and then relaying important information to other employees at the police department and other areas that need that information. In addition, he's very active in his assigned area involving issues that are brought to his attention and contacting and communicating with other city employees, community resources, and other entities to help resolve problems. Problem solving. That's a key portion of community policing. Officer Fuller is on a first-name basis with many of the residents and business owners in his area. They look to Officer Fuller with confidence that their problems will be addressed, resolved with great diligence. Officer Fuller has excellent communication skills, which I'm assuming he's going to demonstrate here in just a little bit. He's sweating. And utilizes them to develop trust with some of Davenport's most challenging citizens. Officer Fuller has shown time and time again his commitment to the Goose Creek neighborhood, not only by his words, but his actions. Officer Fuller's relationship with the citizens of Goose Creek is an example for all Davenport officers to acknowledge. We appreciate Scott's efforts, value his integrity, and we're grateful for his commitment to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Officer Scott Fuller.
Wow, I don't know that I'm going to be able to top the chief here, but I'll give it my best shot. I am very thankful and very honored to be here today to accept this award. It means a great deal, but I have to share this award with everyone in this department because it's a team effort. There's no I there, so it's not about the one, it's about the many. And so thanks to the Davenport Police Department, the mayor, his staff, the council, giving me this opportunity to be part of this special unit. I came from the Walt Disney Company prior to here. I came to this department a little late in life, at 45, so I thank Chief Sikorsky and his staff for allowing me the privilege to be hired by this department, to work with them, and an honor to walk in my father's footsteps, who was a police officer here in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I've tried to, when I came from the Walt Disney Company, I've tried to, every day as I go out there, along with all these other officers, I try to spread a little pixie dust. You know? And so the Optimists Club, who does a great job with our youth and providing them an opportunity to improve their lives and realize their dreams. I want to thank all of you from the Optimists Club for making that effort to our communities and our neighborhoods, because it definitely shows, especially here in the city of Davenport. I've had the privilege to work at Goose Creek for 15 years tomorrow. 15-year anniversary is tomorrow. So I've had that privilege, and thanks to the staff and the chief for allowing me to remain in that neighborhood for that period of time. Those families and kids out there are great people, and it's been a privilege to work with them and be part of their lives and see the change in a lot of those kids' lives as they grow up, go to school, high school, and move on to college. It's been a great honor to be part of that. I have to thank everyone in the department, the gentleman in the back. All these people here trained me to get to be where I am standing today. So if it weren't for them, I could not be standing here. So it's definitely, like I said earlier, a team effort to be able to stand in front of you today. So I just want to say thank you to all of you, my family, my brothers, my sisters, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and for their support. You can't do that without having some sort of support and somebody to talk to at times. So they've been wonderful in that. I'm sure they probably thought I was a little crazy, didn't know what I was going to do as I was getting a little older. Are you going to do something or not? And, the city of Davenport gave me an opportunity to, like I said, live out a dream. So dreams do come true with a little effort, a little persistence and dedication, and not quitting, never quit. You can realize those dreams if you so choose. So I want to thank everybody in this room today for coming, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve this community, and I plan to do so for some time. So again, I thank you all for your honor. Appreciate it.
Well, I guess now it is my honor on behalf of all of my club members, which we too are a big team. If you want to present the plaque to Scott. Scott, congratulations on behalf of the Davenport New Optimists Club.
Thank you.
We appreciate everything you do for our community and the youth of our community. Thank you.
To Sergeant Kevin, the Marksman Respect for Law Award is presented to Officer Scott Fuller for distinguished and dedicated service, advancing the respect for law objective of Optimists International, presented by the Davenport Noon Optimists, August 11, 2017. With everybody up here. Hey, Pat. Yeah. The TV there. Thank you. Wait, yeah. Way back.
It's not my pleasure.
Hang on, we got one more. Good? Okay. You look over there too? All right.
Good job, guys.